Okay, we are going to walk through how to set up a site on WPEngine and put the base install on one of the environments. So first, we're going to go to Add Site. So you can click the site. Unless it's specifically transferable, don't make it transferable because then it can't be live until you transfer it. So we are doing this for Flavor Cloud. And, there's different options here. We will put them under care plans because ultimately they'll be a care plan. Then you hit Add Site. It's going to take a little bit to build the environments, but while it's doing that, we'll go through one of the base installs. I'll pull that up. That's the old one. Okay, so new SHD install. And so we use the base install here. It gives, it's basically like a site that has all the plugins that we need typically use. It has a Beaver Builder theme installed, Beaver Builder installed, all of the things that every site that we use needs to have. And so let's walk through that. Log in here. Let's check this one. Okay, so back to WPEngine. Once we get to this step, we're going to hit copy from existing because the base install exists in this server. So there are two servers. There's Smack Happy and then there's Smack Happy 2. You can't move a site from Smack Happy over to Smack Happy 2. You can't copy or transfer them. So we have two base installs set up. One is on Smack Happy and one is on Smack Happy 2. And they're both the same. We make changes to both, or if they're large changes, then we'll migrate them over, but we have to make sure that they're always the same. So if something's updated or edited on one, it has to be updated and edited on the other. So we're going to copy the one from Smack Happy 2. So we will name, we're in the production environment. We'll name it Flavor Cloud, we'll do Flavor Prod. Just so that we can specify that this is production. So when selecting an environment to copy from, we'll find the base install, and then we'll select that, and then we'll take the latest backup. Create environment. And then this will be creating in the background. Just make sure that it goes through. Okay, yes, so it's currently being built. On WPEngine, there are 3 different environments within each install. And so there's production, staging, and development. Typically, we work on development, and any updates that we want the client to see, we'll work on staging, and then production is always the live site. So while this is going, let's go back to the base install here. All the WPEngine settings here are going to be on every site. We use WP tutorials. These give really generic, quick instructional videos for any like basic updates that the client would need to make. We do usually include the training video on this dashboard once the site is launched and we do a training with the client. We'll add that video here so that it's always accessible. And then there's also a user manual if they would prefer to read through different things rather than watching videos. Again, this is all like very generic, very basic, like WordPress. It's nothing really crazy that's included here. And then these are all typical. Formidable, we usually use either this or gravity forms on each site, depending on what you need, but Formidable is the one that's installed from the get-go. SEO-wise, we use Rank Math. We switched over from Yoast to Rank Math because we think it's a bit higher quality. Let's see, Beaver Builder is the site builder that we use for everything. We use Beaver Builder and Beaver Themer. So that way we have a global header and footer, and this will create a 404 page. There's a lot of different options within it. You can create templates, rows, modules, or an entire layout. And then you can specify if it's the header or footer, which is already installed on the base install as a generic header and footer. Or you can have like a blog archive page, custom post type archive, then the singular of either you can set this up for regular blogs, regular pages, 404 page, and then there's also this part that you can use as well. Going through plugins, advanced custom fields is always going to be installed on here. In addition to, we use Auto-Optimize, but we don't turn this on until launch, just so that caching and all of that doesn't get weird. And then obviously Beaver Builder, Beaver Themer, Formidable. We connect to Manage WP with this plugin here. Once the site is launched, right now it's not connected to anything. Rank Math, like we talked about. Image optimization, we use Resmush. We do have a couple options, but this is the one that's a default on here. This plugin allows you to upload SVGs to the media library pretty easily. And then this is just an extension for Beaver Builder. We also use Power Pack as well. And then the manuals, White Label CMS does these cool things, like we can have this logo here. If we go to the dashboard, it allows us to kind of customize things for the client, as well as the login screen we can customize. So if we were to go to back here, and then go to the login screen, that White Label plugin allows us to customize things. And then we'll typically put this, like the client logo. If you want to change the background, you can, but it just kind of makes it unique and specific to the client. Did we miss any other plugins? And then WP migration. You can use Manage WP, which is super easy, or this one is an automated migration plugin if you needed to ever move it to somewhere else. But with WPEngine, we can do it right within there. I think that's all through here. That's different than a normal install. We use less for styling for custom sites. And that's about it on that end. Within WPEngine, if we create the install, you can also log in using this. It'll take you right to the back end and create a username for yourself. So since I'm logged in under myself in WPEngine, when I click that, it automatically just creates a login for me and takes me right to the dashboard. It's a database there. So everything's set up here on production. Super easy. Typically after launch, we do use the CDN. Everything else here is pretty self-explanatory. And so if we wanted to take and, for example, add a staging environment, or we'll start with the work on dev. So let's do that one first. We would just do the same thing. We can copy from existing. We'll name this one flavored dev. Copy from an environment. Since we already have one here, we can just take that. And then the last backup would be 4 minutes ago. And then we'll create this environment. Wait for that to load, and then you would do the same thing for staging. And that's about it. Oh, it has to wait for production, but that's how you would do development and staging. Yeah, and that's about it.
So typically, like, let's say it's a brand new site like this one. We're just going to be doing the work on the dev. And at what point does it switch to staging?
So typically, if you're working on dev and say, you're at a point where you want the client to see something, but you're still working, developing the rest of the site. So for the project that we just worked on for Fair Pay, what we did is when we were ready for basically different rounds. So at the end of the day, we would push to staging. So that way, if we did break something or something went kind of wonky, the client didn't hop in and see that. So we push to staging when we're confident that we're ready for the client to see the next step, but we're also not working on it at the same time. So that way things look the same.
And how do you copy from, like, when they're actively being worked on?
Yeah, sure. So we'll go to Fair Pay that we were just working on here since they have the environment. So if we were to go to development and say we were ready to copy development to staging, you would go to backup points of development. And you would first create a backup. So you create a backup here. So you would do, you can put a description, like I usually put before pushing to staging or something along those lines. And then create development backup. And then that'll run. That usually takes like 3 to 4 minutes. And then if this were the backup here, once it's done, you just hit restore. And then you would restore to staging.
Oh, well, that's easy. Okay.
Super easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you restore with the database so that everything is the same, obviously. Yeah, super easy.
Cool.
Yeah. If you ever want to save everything in a zip, you can do that. You'll get an email every time something is done, either copying or backing up or along those lines. Like I got an email from creating this new environment, the production environment. What other questions do you have?
I don't have any. It's pretty straightforward.
If you do ever have, so like, for example, yesterday, Anna got blacklisted. WPEngine blacklisted her from all of the sites. And so we do have 24/7 support. They're amazing. All you have to do is hop in here. I'm always chatting with WPEngine. And all you have to do, you can either ask them a question, which you could find if you Googled, if I've already Googled, and I usually just, I'll type in representative, and it'll ask you for your PIN, and your PIN is down here, and you just paste that in there, and you basically have, I mean, they haven't said no to many things that I've asked them to help me with.
Yeah, I've worked with them before. They are very good.
Yeah. I usually, like, if it's something where I'm not sure if they will, I always ask, like, is that something you'll help me with? And they usually say they'll try.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Let's see. So I guess at this point, for specifically Flavor Cloud, I guess I could just make pages while
Yeah.
we wait.
So yeah, I'll stop this here.